memory price inflation,
the RAM crisis.
RAM is incredibly expensive.
RAM prices have doubled lately.
RAM prices are skyrocketing.
How did it come to this? We got screwed by the big tech companies again, because this was not the first time. Do you remember?
The GPU shortage.
to the GPU shortage,
Of the GPU shortage.
Horrible GPU shortage.
Computer hardware prices would rise.
Oh, and rise they did. But how come that we are always in this predicament? There is always a shortage, which is considered a bad thing, but only the consumer loses. The company's stock goes up, the prices just go up, and we are left to, I guess, pay up. The companies don't ramp up the production, it doesn't even seem like they try to do that. So why does this happen? Well, today we are going to talk about that, and then we are going to rank the shortages based on how much they affect us, the consumer. And why not start with the latest shortage, the RAM shortage. But first, why did this happen in this scenario specifically? And you probably have never heard of this reason, because the reason why there is a RAM shortage is
AI, artificial intelligence. AI.
Okay, I promise, that was the last montage. I couldn't help it. So, as we understood, the reason is AI, because you need a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean you need a lot of RAM to be able to use those big data centers. And most articles say in their headlines, major memory component producers are shifting focus from consumer to AI data centers, which means exactly what it says. Companies want money, and AI pays more than you or me, so they will sell RAM to the highest bidder. And right now the highest bidder isn't us, and they are companies like Crucial who are stopping production for consumers. They will start making RAM only for big data centers. Imagine being so poor that companies who you pay don't even think you are worth buying their products. Crucial, or better said Micron, because Crucial is just the name that Micron gave to the brand that was on the consumer side of production. Okay, look, Micron and all other RAM manufacturers are successful, and like really successful, especially now. So how come they are leaving a space that is making them money? This is my opinion, but it seems a lot of people agree with me. This AI situation will stop. Not in the sense that we will not need AI and it will be obsolete, but in the sense that not everything will be about AI. Every company doesn't need AI, like even my fridge has AI nowadays. Why does my fridge need AI? Please tell me. Anyway, I think companies know that when the AI bubble pops and people don't invest in AI as much, there will not be such a huge demand for RAM. And this is a normal CEO's way of thinking. To ramp up the production, you need to first invest a lot of money to make factories, which will take, let's say, a couple of years to build. So then they can start production to then be able to make RAM, so you can sell the RAM for profit. And if the AI bubble bursts before then you will be left with a lot of factories who can produce high amounts of RAM, but there will not be a huge demand for it, or better said, there will not be a demand for it. So people will not buy it because they don't need it, and that's why companies are not ramping up their production. With that said, how much does this affect us, the consumer? So S tier means that it has done irreversible damage to the industry, and F tier is like the prices were up, but it's done and we finished and nobody cares. I think for now this is A tier, and the reason why this isn't any lower or higher on the tier list is because some people are debating that this might affect other parts of the industry as well, like even storage. So this has the potential to be even higher at S tier, but with the damage it has done already until now, it will be left at A tier because it hasn't done irreversible damage to the industry. Like now everybody has a PC, most people can wait until they can get a good deal on RAM, like everybody can hold on before they need an upgrade. For most people there is no real necessity to be in front of your computer and use it all the time, unlike the next shortage on the list, the dark age of GPU shortage. Basically, this shortage is S tier. I am not even going to act like there is a debate here. I know it, you know it, and I am not going to insult anyone's intelligence. But let's go back and just see how bad was it. The reason, or better said, the reasons it got so bad and how it is impacting the industry to this day. Don't forget, we had a shortage of GPUs even when the RTX 50 series launched. It was really hard for anyone to get high-end new GPUs, especially the RTX 5090. But we all know that the real GPU shortage was during the pandemic. So first, let's list the reasons why there was a shortage, and these reasons are at no particular order. First, people couldn't work as hard during the pandemic. Okay, people could still work, but you understand what I mean. Everything worked slower. Some people might have gotten affected. Companies needed to change a lot of things in everything, so it would satisfy the healthcare necessity. You couldn't have as many people in small areas, so that would normally slow down the production. Second, supply chain. Everything from buying the parts to producing were harder, but even transportation got a lot harder during the pandemic. So because it got harder, not as many things were being transported from country to country. So yeah, pandemic played a big role in it. Then we have the Russia and Ukraine war. Basically, Russia was one of the biggest or the biggest supplier of one material that is essential for producing GPUs, and Nvidia couldn't get that material because of the sanctions that everyone put on Russia during that war, and because of that they couldn't produce as many GPUs as they would normally. And after that we had the crypto mining. Yeah, everyone was just hoarding GPUs and using those things to mine crypto. And then there was scalpers who bought all the GPUs at MSRP through illegal programs and then sold them at extremely high prices. Anyway, there are a lot of reasons why the prices were up, but how did it affect us long term? I think PCs became a lot more mainstream during that time, and PCs still continue to be mainstream. But during that time that we were paying high prices, I think the CEO of Nvidia was like, hey, these people are paying $2,000 for GPUs that we are selling for $500 to scalpers. So if we can get the middleman, the scalper, out of the way, we can sell the GPUs for $2,000. And everyone in the room was taking notes, and everyone was like, hey, this man is awesome, so smart, so clever. And that's how the RTX 5090 became $2,000. And the scalpers were selling that thing for $4,000 during the launch because there was a shortage at the time. And if Jensen Huang saw how much people were paying for the RTX 5090, I think we can expect another price increase for the RTX 6090. So long-term prices of the GPUs have increased even more, and that's why I believe this shortage deserves the S tier. So now you are wondering, great, what other shortages are left? And boy oh boy, there are a lot. But since they are not as major, we are not going to waste time with every single one of them. We are just going to go back in time to 2011, and I promise we are going to come back to the present to talk about the problems today, because there's a lot of problems today. But for now, imagine it's 2011, and there's this particular place that produces vast amounts of HDD storage, this peaceful place, and all of a sudden it gets flooded. Okay, I am simplifying it, but you get the idea. SSDs are expensive, and HDD production just stopped for most companies that were making it, and the companies just raised the prices because why not? People are desperate, there's a limited supply of HDD storage, and we customers got screwed, and this on its own would deserve nothing more than the F tier, because okay, we suffered a bit, but after a while everything went back to normal. But I think this was a turning point where companies went from, hey, there's a crisis, how do we help the people, to, hey, there's a crisis, how can we take this to our advantage? Like I said, they just raised the prices, they did nothing to fix the problem, and because of that I think this deserves a B tier, because again, everything went back to normal. And then we have the today HDD shortage. You might have not noticed it yet, but the prices of HDDs have risen because there's a shortage right now. Because we are using SSDs, we have not noticed the impact yet, but big companies are buying vast amounts of HDD storage. So right now, if you want HDD storage, it's not going to be as cheap as it used to be. But the problem is this, if they continue on this path, they might need to start buying SSD storage. And if they do that, then we might have the same case as we do with RAM. They might start coming for our SSD storage, and when they do, the prices are going to rise again. But because most of us use SSDs and those haven't changed in price yet, I am going to give this the D tier, just because it has potential to screw us over, but the prices haven't risen yet. And now a fun one, the China shortage. I am talking about the tariffs that Donald put on China. Look, everything rose in price. I think that was the time when we truly understood how dependent we were from China. The problem with this was that we didn't know how much prices were going to go up, and not just us, even the companies that was selling the products didn't know how much they were going to change. Heck, I don't even think the president knew how much the prices would get affected, and he was the one making the rules. So yeah, everyone who was planning to build a PC during that time got screwed, but this time it wasn't the company greed. Okay, some companies have used this to their advantage and raised the prices and never lowered them, but most companies, I am talking about the companies that do peripherals here, they just got screwed, maybe more than us. They made a bunch of orders, the tariffs hit, and they were left to pay the prices. Because us, the consumers, we always have the option to either buy it or not to buy it with the prices raised. They just made the order, and now they have no choice but to honor it. So long term, the smaller upcoming companies paid the price, and I don't know how they did it, but hopefully they didn't go bankrupt. So as a consumer, I will put this at F tier because everything got sorted to a degree after a while and no long term issues persisted. But if I had to put myself myself in the shoes of smaller businesses, this would have been S tier. Now let's talk about something more interesting, thought-provoking. Combined shortage. What do I mean by this? Well, even after a shortage comes and goes, companies still like to use that excuse to raise the prices. And those prices never come back to us. And I am not talking about parts in specific here, like Nvidia GPUs for example, because that would be too long of a story. But let's take the Xbox for example. They just raised the prices of their consoles twice this year. Imagine that. And I know there are factors beyond my understanding, but tech gets cheaper as time goes on, not more expensive. Like you had a problem, the problem got fixed, now lower the prices. But they don't do that. They wait for the next problem to raise them again. So because of that, and because it's affecting everything from consoles to phones and etc., this deserves the A tier, because everything is going up in price. And because these problems have happened so long ago, I don't think even the CEOs know why the prices are rising. They just raise the prices and it's like an instinct to them nowadays. But this is just the mentality of the CEOs, which I am going to talk about and put it on the tier list. The wrong mindset, the way these company leaders are thinking, and this is the biggest problem we have right now. So let's get into it. First, I know you are tired of hearing about it, but if you are going to make a tier list of things that affect the prices and affect the shortages, well then this has to be in the tier list. So what are the issues I have with greed or wrong mindset? Because you know I am all about companies succeeding and having a healthy competition, but that's not what's happening here. Every company is just looking at how to maximize their earnings so their stock goes up in price, so the shareholders are happy. Nobody cares about the long-term health of the company. Everyone is just chasing short-term goals. The problem here is that everyone that does this will fail sooner or later. The best example today is Intel. I am not saying that Intel is a bad company, but they are chasing short-term goals. Have you noticed how many CEOs Intel has had so far? And to be honest, I think they had great future plans, but the company changed CEO so rapidly to the point where they had no chance of actually following through with their plans. And the new CEO had a plan to team up with a direct competitor, Nvidia. But since Nvidia is the biggest company today, the stock went up and he is considered successful and he is not fired. Just see how short-sighted he is. Like everyone can see that. After that we have allegations of price fixing. Big tech companies talking to each other to fix prices so they don't undercut each other. Like where is the world going? That's the whole point of having competition. There are so many more issues like not increasing production, because why increase production when you can increase the actual prices? And we have other problems like that. You understand what the point is. So yeah, S tier. This is the root of most shortages and the root of prices remaining sky high. Anyway, like always, I am interested to know what do you think about the shortages. Do you agree with my ranking? If not, comment down below. If yes, comment again. If you like videos like this, subscribe, because I post videos like this weekly in this channel. And like if you like the video. If you didn't like it, then like again, because it helps a lot. Bye bye.